Far from the busy stars of the Galactic Union, a small broken space station floated silently in the cold emptiness. Its metal walls were rusted and covered in dust. The lights flickered weakly, and long corridors echoed with silence. This station had once been a stronghold during the Great War that had torn apart many worlds. Now it was forgotten. Inside one of the cells sat Scifi. She was an alien woman with smooth, pale blue skin and deep violet eyes that held both sadness and strength. Her long silver hair was tangled and her clothes were torn. For years, Scifi had lived alone in this small room, trapped and forgotten by the galaxy she had once tried to protect. The war had ended many years ago, but no one had come to free her. Her people, the Varelians, were once proud and powerful, diplomats known across many star systems for their wisdom. Scifi had been a leader, a voice for peace. But when the war finally stopped, the new leaders had quickly turned their backs on her. They wanted to forget the past, and so did the Galactic Union. Scifi's only company was the soft hum of the station's failing systems. She had no idea how much time had passed. Days, weeks, months, maybe even years. Time had lost meaning in her lonely prison. Far away, in a bustling spaceport on the edge of Union territory, a young human engineer named Jace Morrow was preparing his ship for a long trip. Jace was known for his skill in repairing old technology. He was curious and kind, often taking on jobs others avoided. That day, Jace received a strange assignment. An old abandoned space station near a dying planet had a weak life signal. The Galactic Union had ordered it to be investigated. Most people thought it was a mistake. The station had been forgotten, but Jace, always interested in a challenge, accepted the task. His small ship flew through the blackness of space toward the drifting station. As he approached, the station looked like a ghost. Pieces of its outer walls had fallen away, and the docking bay doors hung open like broken jaws. Jace docked carefully and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and the smell of old machines. His boots echoed down the empty halls. His sensors kept picking up a faint energy source. It seemed to come from one of the cells. Curious and cautious, Jace moved toward the signal. When he reached the door, he found it locked tight. His fingers worked quickly on the control panel, bypassing the old security system. The door slid open slowly with a soft hiss. Inside, he saw her, Scifi. She looked up weakly, surprised and unsure. Her eyes searched his face as if she could not believe someone had finally come. "Are you real?" she whispered. Jace smiled, gently. "Yes, I'm real. My name is Jace. I'm here to help." Scifi's lips trembled. She had waited so long, hoping for rescue that never came. But now a human, someone from the species she had once thought enemies, was standing before her offering kindness. Jace stepped inside and handed her a small bottle of water. She took it with shaking hands, drinking slowly. Her throat was dry and her body weak from lack of food and care. "Why did no one come?" she asked softly. Jace shook his head. "I don't know, but you're not alone anymore. I promise." As he looked at her, he saw not just a prisoner, but a proud woman who had been betrayed by her own people and abandoned by the galaxy. Her story was one of pain and hope, and Jace felt a strong desire to protect her. "Can you walk?" he asked. Scifi nodded, struggling to stand. Jace supported her gently. Her steps were slow, but steady. Together, they moved to a safer part of the station where the life support system still worked. Jace started repairing the station's damaged equipment. He worked carefully, making sure the air stayed breathable and the power stayed on. Scifi watched him with quiet gratitude. For the first time in a long while, she felt a spark of hope. That night, Scifi told Jace her story. She spoke of the Great War, of peace talks that failed, and of how she was blamed for actions she did not commit. She had been locked away to silence her voice. Jace listened closely. He did not judge her or her people, Instead, he saw a chance to do something. Right? Everyone forgot about me, Scifi said quietly. But you didn't. Why? Jace looked into her eyes. Because I believe everyone deserves to be remembered, and everyone deserves a second chance. In the cold, lonely station far from the busy stars, a human and an alien found an unexpected friendship, two very different beings, brought together by hope and kindness. Outside, the galaxy kept turning, unaware that a forgotten prisoner had finally been found. The space station was old and worn, but with Jace's careful work, its system slowly began to awaken. Lights flickered back on, and the soft hum of machines filled the air once more. The cold, empty corridors no longer felt quite so lonely. Scifi sat by a small window that looked out into the blackness of space. She watched the distant stars blink quietly, her violet eyes full of memories and unanswered questions. For so long she had been trapped in silence and darkness. Now, with Jace by her side, the silence was broken. Jace moved around the station, with practiced ease, fixing broken consoles and restoring power to critical systems. His focus was on survival, for both of them. Despite the years of neglect, he was determined to make this place safe again. You must be hungry, Jace said softly, placing a tray of food before Scifi. The alien woman looked at the unfamiliar meal with uncertainty. Try it. It's good. She hesitated but then took a small bite. The flavors were strange but comforting. Scifi had lived on rations that barely kept her alive. This was a meal filled with care. As she ate, she told Jace more about her life before the prison. Her people, the Varelians, were known for their wisdom and peaceful ways. Scifi had been a diplomat, trying to bring an end to the war that had cost so many lives. But her efforts had been misunderstood, twisted by those who wanted power. Why? Did they lock you away? Jace asked. Scifi looked down, her voice barely above a whisper. Because I spoke the truth. Because I refused to fight when others wanted war. They called me a traitor. Jace shook his head in disbelief. That is unfair. You fought for peace. That should have made you a hero. But the galaxy is not always fair, Scifi said sadly. And sometimes the truth is the hardest thing to hear. Jace sat beside her, offering quiet support. He wanted to believe that the galaxy could be better, that kindness and honesty could still change things. Suddenly, Jace's communicator beeped softly. It was a message from the Galactic Union. Human ship, report status. Jace frowned. They want to know what happened to the station. I can't tell them everything. Not yet. Scifi looked at him with concern. Why not? Because if they find me with you here, they might send soldiers to take you away. And I don't want that to happen. Not until I understand what's really going on. Scifi nodded. I understand, but what will you do? Jace smiled with determination. I'll find a way to prove your innocence. To show them that you were wronged. And I'll keep you safe. Days passed, and their bond grew stronger. Scifi began to trust Jace. She saw in him something rare. A human who did not judge her by her species or her past. Instead, he saw her as a person, full of hope and strength. One evening, as the station's artificial sun dimmed to simulate night, Scifi asked, Do humans often help those they don't know? Jace thought for a moment. Not always, but some do. It's called compassion. It means caring even when it's hard. Scifi smiled softly. I think I am beginning to understand. Jace nodded. We all need someone to believe in us. Suddenly, a soft knock echoed through the station's main door. Jace quickly moved to check. Outside stood a small group of Union peacekeepers. They had come searching for signs of life, drawn by faint energy readings. Jace's heart raced. Scifi, stay hidden. He opened a secret panel, revealing a small, concealed room. Scifi slipped inside just as the peacekeepers entered the station. Search the entire station, the leader ordered. We have reports that someone may be alive here. The peacekeepers moved methodically, their footsteps heavy on the metal floors. Jace stayed calm, answering questions and guiding them to areas with no life signs. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the peacekeepers found nothing and prepared to leave. As they turned to go, one peacekeeper paused, looking back at Jace. "You're hiding something, human. We will be back." Jace's voice was steady, but firm. "You won't find anything here." After the peacekeepers left, Scifi emerged from her hiding place. Her eyes were wide with fear. "They will come again," she said quietly. "I am still not safe." Jace placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Then we will be ready, together." In the silence of the station, two souls, one human, one alien, stood united against a galaxy that had almost forgotten them both. Their journey was only beginning. Days passed aboard the old space station, now slowly coming back to life with Jace's repairs and care. Scifi grew stronger, but her heart was heavy with worry. The galaxy outside was vast, and though she was far from her prison, she knew dangers still lurked. Jace moved carefully, gathering supplies and planning their next steps. "You can't stay here forever," he said one morning as he handed Scifi a small pack of food and water. "We need to get you somewhere safe." Scifi looked out the window at the swirling stars and distant planets. "I don't know where to go," she said softly. "My homeworld is lost to me now. My people, they do not want me." Jace listened patiently. "Tell me about your world. Maybe we can find a place where you belong." She took a deep breath and began. The Varelian homeworld was once a place of beauty and peace. Tall crystal towers, forests that sang with light, and seas that sparkled like stars. But war changed everything. Our leaders chose pride over peace. I tried to stop them, but I was silenced. Jace nodded thoughtfully. "Sometimes people fear change even if it means hurting others." Scifi's violet eyes met his. "Your people, humans, fought against us in the war. Yet here you are risking everything to help me. Why?" Jace smiled, a gentle warmth in his eyes. "Because I believe in what's right, because kindness is stronger than hate, and because I see you, not as an enemy, but as a person." Her lips curved in a small smile. "That means more than you know." Despite their differences, a connection grew between them, a bridge between two worlds shaped by understanding and hope. One evening, Scifi asked, "What is life like on your world, Jace?" He thought for a moment. "Earth is full of noise and chaos, but also great beauty. People work hard, make mistakes, but also help each other. We dream of a better future." Scifi's eyes shone with curiosity. "I would like to see it one day." Jace laughed softly. "Maybe someday you will." But their peaceful moments were fragile. The Galactic Union's warnings echoed in Jace's mind. Scifi was still wanted by many. They could not stay hidden forever. Jace pulled up star maps and data on his ship's computer. "There's a neutral planet called Viridia. It's outside most major territories. It's safe for those who need protection." Scifi's gaze brightened. "Then we should go." The day of departure arrived. Scifi felt a mix of hope and fear. As they prepared the ship, she turned to Jace. "Thank you, human, for believing in me." Jace smiled. "No one deserves to be forgotten." Their journey through space was filled with quiet conversations and shared dreams. Scifi told stories of her childhood, of festivals under twin moons and songs sung by the elders. Jace shared tales of Earth's oceans and mountains. Despite the distance between their worlds, they found common ground in their hopes for peace. But the galaxy was not yet ready to let Scifi go. Midway to Viridia, their ship was intercepted by a Union patrol cruiser. Loudspeakers crackled. "This is the Galactic Union. Prepare to be boarded." Jace's heart pounded. He quickly explained their mission, pleading for mercy. But the officers were cold. "You are harboring a fugitive. Stand down." Scifi stepped forward, her voice steady. "I am not a fugitive. I am innocent." Her words were met with silence. Then, A high-ranking officer appeared on the screen. Scifi Varelian, you are charged with crimes against the Union. You will surrender. Jace shook his head. There is proof she was framed. Let us present it. The officer's expression hardened. Your time is over. Prepare for detention. Jace glanced at Scifi. We have to think fast. With skill and calm, Jace engaged the ship's evasive controls. The cruiser fired warning shots, but Jace's piloting kept them just out of reach. The chase was tense and dangerous. Scifi reached out, touching Jace's arm. Thank you for fighting for me. Jace smiled. I won't give up. Not while you believe in us. After a tense battle of wits and speed, the patrol cruiser gave up the chase, allowing them to continue. Breathing heavily, Scifi looked at Jace with gratitude. You saved my life. He shrugged. We save each other. As Viridia's green-blue planet appeared on the horizon, hope returned. They landed on the quiet world surrounded by forests and clear skies. For the first time in years, Scifi felt the warmth of a new beginning. Together, they stepped onto Viridia's soil, ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them next. The peaceful world of Viridia welcomed Scifi and Jace with open skies and quiet forests. The air was fresh and sweet, a sharp contrast to the cold metal of the old station they had left behind. For a brief moment, Scifi allowed herself to believe she could finally find safety here. But peace was fragile. News traveled fast through the network of space stations and ships. Rumors spread that Scifi Varelian, the woman once locked away and forgotten, was alive, and that a human was helping her escape. The Galactic Union was quick to respond. One evening, as Scifi and Jace walked through a small village nestled between tall trees, a distant hum filled the sky. Scifi looked up and saw several patrol ships entering Viridia's atmosphere. They found us, Jace said quietly, eyes scanning the horizon. Scifi's heart raced. Why are they so afraid of me? Jace shook his head. Because your story threatens their power. The truth you carry could change everything. The Galactic Union's peacekeepers landed in the village, their uniforms sharp and their faces stern. They moved with authority, questioning the villagers and searching for signs of Scifi. Jace stood beside Scifi, his hand resting lightly on her back. Stay calm. We will face this together. The Union officers soon found Scifi's location. She was brought before a high-ranking official aboard one of the patrol ships, accused again of crimes she did not commit. You stand accused of war crimes, treason, and endangering the peace, the officer said coldly. Your trial will be held on Union headquarters. Scifi met his gaze steadily. I ask only for truth to be heard. Jace, though nervous, stepped forward. We have evidence proving her innocence, records that were hidden. She was a scapegoat, betrayed by her own people. The officer scoffed. You overestimate your importance, human. This is a political matter. Despite the harsh words, Jace did not back down. Then let the truth be seen. Word of Scifi's capture spread quickly. Many species, tired of war and mistrust, began to speak out in her defense. Some Varelians, inspired by her courage, challenged their own leaders. Back on Viridia, Jace and Scifi's allies worked quietly to gather more proof and support. Their small group grew as more people believed in Scifi's cause. The day of the trial arrived. The grand hall of the Union headquarters was filled with representatives from many worlds. Scifi stood before them, calm but determined. Her voice echoed through the chamber as she spoke of peace, betrayal, and hope. She showed records and testimonies that revealed the lies spread against her. Jace watched proudly, his heart swelling with admiration. Scifi was more than a prisoner. She was a leader. After hours of debate, the council was divided. Some wished to condemn her, fearing the truth would upset the fragile peace. Others wanted to listen, to heal the wounds of the past. In the end, the council decided to delay judgment, granting Scifi temporary freedom under protection, while more investigation continued. Relieved but wary, Scifi and Jace returned to Viridia. The fight was far from over, but a seed of hope had been planted. That night, under the stars, Sailari turned to Jace. "I never imagined a human would stand for me." Jace smiled softly. "Sometimes it takes seeing the person, not the title or the past." She nodded, feeling a new strength inside. "Then we must keep fighting, not just for me, but for all who have been forgotten." Together, they looked to the future, a future where trust could replace fear and kindness could light the darkest corners of the galaxy. After the trial's uncertain outcome, Sailari and Jace knew their time on Viridia was limited. The galactic Sioux. Union's gaze remained heavy, and enemies lurked in the shadows. To survive, they would have to become fugitives, moving through the stars with care and courage. Jace prepared their ship for a new journey, one without clear direction, but full of hope. "We can't stay in one place too long," he said. "They'll keep searching." Sailari nodded, steady despite the uncertainty. "Then we move. We find those who need help. We become more than just fugitives. We become a light for others." Their ship slipped quietly through asteroid fields and dark nebulae, places where patrols rarely ventured. Along the way, Sailari used her knowledge to identify pockets of refugees and communities suffering from the aftershocks of war. On a small moon, orbiting a gas giant, they found a village of displaced families struggling to survive. The children were weak and the adults fearful of the Union's reach. Sailari stepped forward, speaking with gentle authority. She shared stories of peace and hope, encouraging the villagers to rebuild. Jace helped repair broken machines and systems, bringing water and power back to their homes. Word of their kindness spread. More and more people began to see Sailari not as a fugitive but as a symbol of hope. The human who stood by her side became a trusted friend to many, yet danger never strayed far. One night, as they camped on a quiet planet's surface, the sky lit up with the flashing lights of Union ships. Their pursuers had tracked them again. Jace worked quickly, coordinating a plan to escape. "We can't fight them head-on," he said, "but we can outsmart them." Using hidden valleys and dense forests, they led the patrols on a chase through rugged terrain. Sailari's sharp mind and Jace's piloting skills kept them one step ahead. After several tense hours, they lost their pursuers beneath a thick canopy of alien trees. Breathing heavily, Sailari looked at Jace. "Every step we take, we remind the galaxy that we are not giving up." Jace smiled, though exhaustion showed on his face. "Because we believe in a better future." As they traveled from world to world, Sailari began to heal, not just from her past, but from the loneliness that had haunted her for so long. Jace's presence was a steady comfort, a reminder that kindness could still be found. One evening, under a sky filled with unfamiliar stars, Sailari spoke softly. "You have shown me what it means to trust again." Jace's eyes met hers. "And you've taught me the power of hope." Their bond grew deeper, forged by shared struggles and quiet moments of peace. Together, they were no longer just a hunted alien and a human engineer. They were partners in a mission greater than themselves. Despite the risks, Sailari chose to continue helping those in need. Her words inspired resistance against injustice, and her actions saved countless lives. The galaxy, once cold and distant, began to feel a little warmer, but their journey was far from over. The shadows of war still stretched long, and the forces that wanted Sailari silenced were growing stronger. Still, Sailari and Jace faced the future with courage, knowing that together they could change the stars themselves. After months of moving through hidden corners of the galaxy, Sailari and Jace knew it was time to face the truth head-on. They could no longer run from the past or hide from those who sought to silence Sailari's voice forever. It was time to bring her story to light in a place where justice could be heard. A neutral council known as the Tribunal of Truth. The tribunal was located on a peaceful space station orbiting a distant star, far from the political tensions of the Galactic Union. Representatives from many species gathered here to settle disputes and seek fairness. It was their best chance. As their small ship docked, Sailari felt a mix of hope and fear. "This could change everything, or end it all," she whispered. Jace squeezed her hand gently. No matter what happens, we face it together. Inside the grand hall of the tribunal, rows of delegates watched as Scifi stepped forward. Her posture was strong, her eyes clear and steady. This was her moment to be heard. Jace stood behind her, ready to support her in every way. The trial began with the usual formalities. The prosecution presented old accusations against Scifi, charges of betrayal, causing war, and undermining peace efforts. The room was silent as Scifi listened. Then Jace presented evidence they had gathered during their journey: data logs, hidden transmissions, and testimonies from witnesses who had suffered during the war. One by one, the facts showed a different story. One of a diplomat fighting for peace framed by those hungry for power. Scifi spoke with quiet confidence. I stood for peace when others chose war. I was punished because the truth was dangerous to some. The delegates exchanged glances, some nodding in agreement, others skeptical. One elder from a distant species asked, "Why should we believe you now, after all this time?" Scifi met the question with honesty. Because the truth does not change with time. Because the people who supported me then are silent now and I stand here alone. But my cause is just. Jace added, I came to know Scifi not as an enemy but as a person with courage and kindness. Her story is one the galaxy needs to remember. The debate was long and difficult. Many voices spoke of fear that reopening old wounds might lead to new conflicts. But others spoke of hope, that healing could only begin with truth. After hours of discussion, the tribunal made its decision. They could not yet fully clear Scifi's name, but they granted her conditional freedom and tasked a special committee to investigate further. Scifi and Jace left the hall feeling both relief and determination. The road ahead was still long, but the first step had been taken. As they looked out from the space station's observation deck, the stars glittered with promise. Scifi turned to Jace, her voice soft but firm. You risked everything for me. Why? Jace smiled. Because I believe in justice. Because I believe in you. And because sometimes the right thing is also the hardest thing. She nodded, feeling stronger than she had in years. Then we keep going. For peace. For those who cannot speak. Together they prepared for what came next, knowing that the galaxy's future might depend on their courage to stand for truth. The days after the tribunal's decision were filled with both hope and challenge. Scifi and Jace remained on the peaceful space station, waiting as the special committee worked to uncover the truth buried beneath years of lies and politics. Though uncertain, Scifi felt a light growing inside her, a hope that she might finally reclaim her name and her place in the galaxy. Jace stood by her side through it all, a steady presence in a world that often seemed uncertain. Their bond had grown stronger, built on trust, courage, and the shared dream of a better future. One morning, the committee's findings were announced. The evidence was clear. Scifi had been falsely accused. The real cause of the war had been hidden by powerful leaders who wanted to control others through fear. Scifi's name was cleared. The announcement spread quickly through the galaxy. Many who had doubted her now saw her as a symbol of truth and courage. Scifi was offered a new role, as an ambassador to help heal the wounds of the past and unite the scattered species still haunted by war. But Scifi surprised many by declining the offer. She did not seek power or title. Instead, she chose a quieter path, working alongside Jace to help those still suffering in forgotten places. Peace is not made by speeches in halls, she said gently. It is made in the hearts of people. Jace smiled, proud of her strength and humility. You're a true leader, Scifi. Together they traveled to worlds where hope had dimmed, helping rebuild communities and inspire kindness. Wherever they went, Scifi's story reminded people that even in the darkest times, one person's courage could light the way. On a quiet evening, under a sky filled with stars, Scifi and Jace stood on the deck of their small ship. The galaxy stretched out before them, full of challenges but also endless possibility. Scifi turned to Jace, her eyes soft with gratitude. Everyone forgot about me. But you didn't, human. Jace took her hand gently. I never forgot. And I never will. In that moment, two very different beings, an alien diplomat and a human engineer, found a shared future. Their journey, once filled with fear and loneliness, had become a story of hope and friendship. As their ship moved into the stars, they carried with them a message for the galaxy, that kindness, courage, and truth can overcome even the greatest darkness. And so Sayalari's name was remembered, not as a prisoner but as a symbol of peace and the power of never giving up.